Hello and welcome to another episode of the Fishtank podcast. I'm your host Sebastian Bowen, as usual, joined by my co-hosts Leon,
Going on, peeps.
Rory,
Yo, what's good? What's good?
and Sheg.
Greetings, everybody. It's good to be here again. It's good to be here.
Yeah, so last week we touched a little bit on the old Mandela Effect. Did you guys have time to go away and do some homework and check it out? Especially you, Leon. You'd never even heard of it. Did you check out any videos?
Yes, I watched the film.
You watched a film on it? Okay.
There's a film. It's 2019 it was made. And it's called The Mandela Effect. And it's about this guy who basically, I thought you guys would have seen it, to be fair.
No, I ain't got that
okay.
deep.
No. I just typed in, you on your Fire Stick, I typed in The Mandela Effect and the film came up. I was like, oh, right, okay. And basically it's about this guy he basically, for a living, he makes games.
Okay.
And the unfortunate event of his daughter dying in the film, and him and his partner getting a feeling that it didn't feel real. And then at the same time, when they were getting these feelings, he was noticing little things like on the Monopoly, the guy,
monocle.
What's it called? The monocle was gone, and it was there before. And that book with the bears, the name
Bernstein
changed,
birds,
the Bernstein, stuff like that. And yeah, and then he started going down a rabbit hole, found out about certain things like CERN and stuff like that. And he realized that he could. Do you want to watch this film or?
No, go on.
Okay.
I mean, everything you said, I already know about the Mandela Effect.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So basically, because he makes games and he knows all like the coding and stuff, he met this guy who was talking about the simulation, and the reason why these things are happening is because we're in a simulation and stuff like that.
Right.
And because he's grieving the loss of his daughter and stuff like that, he wants to try and get his daughter back. And he in the end, he finds this master computer thing. And he does this coding. I'm just going through it briefly. Does his coding, and then he inputs the Fire Stick.
Yeah, another Fire Stick. Yeah,
he puts a Fire Stick in, and he kind of reboots everything. And in the end, he gets his daughter back, and he's living life like it's nice and stuff like that. And his wife seems normal, but then his wife starts breaking down. And then the wife turns around one day and looks at the child and says, "You shouldn't be here."
Oh wow!
And that's when it all started. He realized, okay, this is mad. I need to do something here. So
all right. Stop there. Actually,
yeah.
Now I'm actually getting intrigued.
It's a really good film. And when I finished watching it, it was like, okay, I kind of understand what the Mandela Effect, but it was almost like. When you're living your reality and there's different paths to go down, and you might visualize, if you go down that path, this might happen. When he reboots it, you see that.
Okay.
And he ended up saving his daughter's life by just by one act.
Okay.
But along with that, there was a lot of the Mandela effect within that. So yeah.
That sounds interesting. I mean, I haven't watched it. I knew it was around. I knew it existed because there was another film they made around the Mandela Effect as well about, I think, a guy. Again, I haven't seen this one, but there's a guy who wakes up, I think, one day and somehow he wrote all the music to the Beatles. It wasn't John Lennon and them guys. It was him that wrote the music for the Beatles. So he's living in that reality. Again, I haven't seen the film, but it is based around the Mandela Effect as well.
Is it when he wakes up, he realized that people don't know this music, so he then starts making that music?
It could be that. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I don't know which way the narrative goes. But it could be that what you just said as well. But yeah, so it shows you that this is something that it's in mainstream culture as well, and I think everyone's kind of heard about it. Like you'd heard about it, but you'd never really. You never peeled off, the label to see what was going on about that. You know what I mean? Whereas now, this week, 1 week later, sounds like you know more than most people now because you've been opened up to.
Watch the film, bro.
Exactly. But everything you just said is pretty much all the theories. So, like, a lot of people do think that CERN has something to do with this since they turned on the Large Hadron Collider machine, because that's when a lot of people started noticing these changes. And then other people have theories about split realities in terms of, like courses in your life where you'd make these perfect decisions and these decisions could then split into two different pathways, and some consciousnesses are slipping into one stream and then the other stream. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting. I'm definitely going to check that out now that you said that, because I didn't watch it before. I don't know why. I just felt like, really, they've made a movie about it. It's probably not going to.
Well, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I thought, oh, a Mandela movie from Hollywood. I ain't watching that. So, because I've known about the Mandela effect for a long time. And the way I see it is that I can say it's got me. Like, there's a certain ones that I can say I think that has changed. But then again, the other side of me thinks that, well, if it has changed, and I am right, what can I do about it? Do you know what I mean? And how if it's changed once, does it change regularly? Do you know what I mean? But it's just it's unnoticeable. But or it could be going back to the human brain. It's very complicated. As they say, we don't even know what half of it does. It could be a memory thing where it could be a wishful thinking. You wish it was like that, or so, or it could be a logical thing as well. Some things would in your logic would seem better that way.
I mean, the most common theory is that we're misremembering. That is the most common logical answer, is that we're all just misremembering that it was the way that they're saying it is now, and we're all just wrong. But I have a problem with that part as well, though, because I feel like internally I get a different emotion and a different feeling when I'm misremembering something to when I think there's a Mandela effect. It's a whole different emotion inside of me. Like if someone told me that, I don't know, something that I'm just misremembering, it happens every day. Every day I misremember things. I don't get to the point where I'm thinking, no, I've never been like, I'm not dying on that hill, is what I'm trying to say. Whereas with some of these things, you can't tell me. No, you can't tell me that it was the other way around. Whereas, people tell me all the time, oh, no, it wasn't that, it was this. It wasn't that, it was this. You have to live to accept it. But for some reason, I can't accept some of these things because in my heart, that just wasn't what it was. I know it wasn't that, despite the fact you're trying to tell me over and over again, nah, you're just misremembering. But how come I'm misremembering with tons of millions of people around the world that I've never met?
That's the thing.
Who all experienced it at different times in their lifetime.
And different things.
Yeah, and it's not like we're misremembering different things. We're misremembering the same thing. So we're misremembering it, but we're all misremembering it the same way. That's the part I find a little bit hard to believe, because then why do we all think that then?
I think people trolling and they're just pranking people, bro. For me, that's how it feels. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, if they have the power to change something, why not? And let's create this. No, seriously, like if you've got the power to do that, you can do that, bro. You can say, you know what, I'm going to take this out of this image and say it wasn't there in the first place.
Yeah, but who's doing that?
But do you get what I'm saying? Whatever it is, we're here now, we're experiencing it together, we're actually talking about it. So it's in existence and it's happening. So whoever has the power to do that is obviously doing that. Now, you can put it down to we're in a simulator and, there's a glitch or whatever in the Matrix or whatever the case may be. But we know that Fruit of the Loom thing, people have got evidence of that. What is it called again?
Yeah. Well, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that in a moment. But
it's there. But I remember when I was younger, now I said, I think it was the last recording we did, I said that there was a bowl there, but there's no bowl there.
No,
there's no bowl. It's just fruit, right?
Well,
and then under it's got Fruit of the Loom. But in my head, I thought there was a bowl. Do you get what I'm saying? But there isn't a bowl there. So when I double checked it, and I thought, right, why did I think there was a bowl there?
Yeah.
And back in the day, people used to say this. What is it? You got you know, when you're walking, you walk. What's the saying? You got fruit with that bowl or something like that.
You want some fruit?
Oh,
you want some fruit with that bowl. So in my head, fruit of the Loom bowl. So sometimes we could be doing that. Do you get what I'm saying with certain things? But with this thing, I don't remember that thing being there. Because I don't know if it is because I was going down to Woolwich Market and getting all the moody stuff for fruit. but
wait, so
I don't remember that shit being
in your
there.
mind, you don't remember the cornucopia behind
No, I
it?
don't.
Okay, that's interesting. All right. You know
But
what?
that's what I was gonna say,
Yeah,
because some of this stuff it could be like that side of things where someone's changing something, or it could be like, so what you was talking about last week with the James Bond movie.
Yeah.
It could also be where people do these pop references of things. So where they released the advert, and the advert was so big. And let's not forget, communication isn't what it was. There's no social media. So everyone's seen that advert so many times that in their head, that scene was also in the movie. They seen the advert more than they saw the movie. So it could also be that pop references can alter our reality and what we think.
I remember where I was. Okay, I was in 69 White Road in Birmingham, in Small Heath, in my nan's house, watching that on TV. And
was you watching the advert?
No, I was watching that movie. I remember it all too clearly, and not only I remember it that time, I remember it every year that I watched that film in my nan's house, because she would always be watching James Bond. Every Christmas time, they show the same films. That one, anytime that one came on, I was fixated with it because of the character, Jaws. So out of all the James Bond films, I can probably say, especially the earlier ones, that one I've probably seen the most, because that character to a child is like a monster. It's like, it's unlike any of the other villains, because he's like a proper monster. He's a giant with metal teeth. So I've probably seen that film more than the rest of the movies. So what you're saying now, respectfully, no, I'm not having that. That's my point. There's certain things I just can't allow you to override the system. All right, I got some examples today. Hopefully the technology is not going to let us down, and people at home watching this on their phones can see what we see today. But I'm going to show you some examples. Let's see if I can do this. All right, cool. Yeah. All right, so you got an image of Britney Spears here, yeah? Is that what you're all looking at? Yeah. So do you remember the song?
Yeah.
You don't have to remember the name of the song or anything. That's not part of it. But in terms of what image to you looks correct, I don't know if you've come across this Mandela Effect already, so you know or not, but which one to you looks right in this picture?
Well, I'll go straight. Look, that thing looks like it's been added.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. The one with the mic.
No, it has been added in this image, right? But is that the way you remember this music video?
See, that's baffling to me now. Because in my head, I'm feeling like, yeah, I remember the mic being there. But then when I look at the other one, I'm like, yeah, the mic wasn't there. So for me, it's... I got...
Brother, make a choice, brother.
But there's a conflict to me. I'm being honest. It's not that I have to choose. I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest with what I'm observing right now.
All right, go on. So you got to choose. You got to choose. Go on.
So what one, bro?
I'll go with the one without it, because it looks like it's been added on that.
Sheg, what about you?
The way I remember it is she had the mic on her thing.
Okay. Rory?
The way I remembered it is she had almost like a skin-toned mic. It wasn't like a mic this color, but I do remember a mic. But I think it was more skin-toned than what we're seeing in the image.
Okay, well, I'm agreeing with Rory and Sheg. I totally 100% remember the microphone. There was no doubt about it. And it was one of those movies. And the thing is, I think the reason why I remember it is because it was unusual to have a microphone in a music video. And that's the reason why I remember it so much. Because I remember when I first saw it, I thought, that's odd. Why would you do that in the video? That's something you'd have on stage, but not in the video. In this picture, you're very right, Leon. In this picture, they have had to superimpose that image because it doesn't exist no more. You will not find this video no more, or the image of her with the microphone the way me, Rory, and Sheg remember it, because it doesn't exist, and it never existed, which just blows my mind. But
can I just say, I remember the dance routine for this. Yeah?
Yes.
And I remember there was a lot of shaking her head and doing all of that. Yeah. And that was for the mic. It was like it was something new and something cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I definitely remember the mic.
I remember the mic. And I think someone was even saying on a video I watched, I don't quote me on this, but they sold toys. And with the toys, it came with the microphone. That's what's so nuts. So, because what you was just talking about, Leon, about the cornucopia in the Fruit of the Loom one, there are some of these cases, there's residual evidence, which means there's evidence of that thing existing back in the day, in either a newspaper or in some other format, which can't be explained because it doesn't exist
like
now.
A review of it or something.
Yeah.
You know, but can I just say something though, right? So with that Fruit of the Loom thing, I think I've read somewhere that this Mandela effect is so widespread that the actual company have actually done an anniversary set or line of clothing
with the cornucopia.
With the cornucopia.
That's nuts.
Do you know what I mean?
That's nuts. Yeah. That's just messing with people's brains.
That's great marketing. That's great marketing, bro. You know you're selling a load of that stuff.
It's weird.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Now, this one you might not be familiar with, but out of these two images, which one looks the right one to you?
Can I go first?
Go on. Whoever wants to go first.
I think that the one with the nose ring is the one that I remember.
Okay. Rory?
I think, yeah.
I don't remember a nose ring with this laughing cow.
You don't remember the nose ring? Okay.
No.
Leon?
I swear this cow was winking as well, no?
I'm not asking for that, bro.
Nah, man, the cow was winking, bro. I must be thinking about the advert. I think it must have been the advert.
It might have winked right at the end.
Yeah,
the cow must have
winked. It might have done that. But did it have a nose ring or not?
Yeah, man. Oh, mate, nose ring thing. Yeah, I don't know why the nose ring is standing out to me more than without.
So you think it did have a nose ring? Is that your answer?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I remember that image more than the other one.
So I agree with Sheg and Leon, because to me, I really, really do remember that nose ring 100%. I think I even laughed about it to my girlfriend and said, that nose ring just looks so prominent. And it did come, I remember it does come up to the camera real close at the end of the advert. But I definitely remember the nose ring. There is no nose ring. It never existed. The company
in any country.
No. I don't know about any country, but this is the laughing cow doesn't have a nose ring. The real image is the one on the left-hand side without the nose ring. All right. Well, let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this one got me big time. Right? Who wants to go first? Rory,
I'll go first. Go first. The one on the left is the real one. It definitely is the real one. The one
Which
on the
one?
left. The one with the double E in the middle.
Okay. Sheg?
The one, I agree with Rory, right? Because I remember when this product first came out. Yeah, I remember. And I remember saying, Febreze. Now, I'm somebody who's very good with the English language, yeah. I passed all my English exams, yeah. English literature and the English language, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got qualifications on that. So when I see something, in my mind I can read and I say it as I see it. I say it as I see it. Yeah. And I have never in my life said, what's that? Febreze. I've never said Febreze or Febreze. It was always Febreze.
Yeah.
Now, and I read labels a lot, so I definitely reckon it's one on the left.
Okay. Leon, what do you remember?
So this product, when it first came out, I was like, people are just disgustingly dirty, bro. Just wash your teeth, bro. Why are you spraying it with, do you know what I mean? It's like, just smell fresh at that, bro.
Just clean it.
Yeah, bro. Just clean your shit. But it's a norm now. But anyway, yeah, I remember the two E's definitely, bro. That one on the right hand side just doesn't look right to me. I don't remember that at all.
Okay.
But didn't they also do wasn't it sang in the song like Febreze?
Yeah.
Digging out the
I swear they put emphasis on the E's.
It definitely in my world had two E's. Okay. It doesn't have two E's. It never did have two E's, right? We all
Yeah,
imagine.
but do you know the weird thing? Do you know the weird thing
that.
about this product? Do you know the weird thing about this product? They still pronounce it Febreze.
They do. That's the part that is weird about it. Because the other one doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. It says, like you said, how you pronounced it earlier, Febreze, right? Or Febreze. Yeah. But that one, you clearly, even from a marketing point of view, right? Wouldn't you want to spell it with two E's?
Definitely.
If that's the name of your product, it just makes way more sense. And I didn't imagine that. I know I didn't imagine that. I remember it when it first came out. I looked at it. I was like, oh, okay. They're spelling it with two E's. They're trying a new thing. But apparently, it's never had two E's. We're all just imagining it. Let's move on.
And do you know the other thing about this product? Okay, you've gone.
Go on. I can go back.
I'll go back to that product. Yeah. Okay. So the other thing I was going to say about this product, is that right. So the FE, yeah, and then it's breeze, like a nice breeze, and that is a freshener. Yeah, it means something. It actually means something. What does Breze? What Brez doesn't have a meaning. But why, as a marketing executive, if you was going to do it like that, you must be. It doesn't make sense. It's obvious. It's logical.
I would say so. Anyway. Let's move on. Okay. Ford. We've all seen this logo being in Britain. We see it every single day. Which one do you remember is the official one?
All right, I'll go, and I will say the top one. Like having a dad that's worked for Ford all my life growing up, I'm 100% sure it's the top one.
Okay, Sheg.
Okay, so I remember back in the day, and I remember my mate had a Ford Capri, and I thought that I think it's the bottom one, but you see, as you know, I know a bit about the Mandela Effect. But when this first came out, it was definitely the straight line, and I did so much trying to find residue evidence about this, and I couldn't find nothing. But then I think it might be something I might have just missed. But I thought it was the bottom one was the original one, and now it's the top one.
Okay, Leon.
Do you know what this reminds me of?
Go on.
Do you remember those books you used to get and you used to spot the difference and you had to circle?
That's what we're doing.
This is what we're doing, bro. Let me see. Do you know what? Yeah, I was going with Rory with the top one, because I just remember my father having like Ford cars and stuff like that, and that squiggle, just where. Yeah, and it just, and it seems like, because that squiggle, it basically looks like it's adding on to the O, but it looks like it's just been cut out. So I feel like it's the top one for me.
Okay, it is the top one apparently. I remember the bottom one, I think, more. But this again, going back to what we were saying earlier, why don't I get angry about this one then? Because in my mind, I already feel like I could be misremembering this, right? So therefore, I'm accepting it. It's not something that gives me a weird feeling inside that I want to hurt somebody for telling me that it's the other thing. I'm happy to go along and say, all right, it could be the top one, it could be the bottom one. Either way, even though I've seen this logo tons and tons of time, and inside my head, I would still probably put money on the bottom one. I'm still not going to get upset by knowing it's the top one. And that's the difference between, for me, misremembering and the Mandela Effect itself. That's the only way I can kind of articulate that. It's a weird, different emotion. But let's just move on anyway to the next one. Now we got the big one. So this is the one where I will kill someone if they try and tell me that cornucopia wasn't on the Fruit of the Loom. All right? Because for me, that's the only reason why I know what this is. That's the only reason why I know what a cornucopia is. I didn't know, when I say know what it is, I didn't know what the name of that thing was until I asked somebody, what is that behind the fruit? And someone I remember telling me said to me, that is a cornucopia. From that day on, I remembered the name cornucopia. So, and the other one just looks ridiculously odd. It looks to me like there's something missing from that image. So, as you all know, you know where I stand on this one. But Rory, what's your thoughts?
So for me, I'm not 100% sure if the one. I'm not 100% sure if either of these images are correct.
Oh, you're going deep,
I'm
man.
honest with you.
You're going left.
No,
but you're saying there's a bow there.
all I remember is
he remembers a bird in the background. Go on.
All I remember is that there was something brown in the background. I don't remember if it was actually this shape or this.
That's brown, bruv.
But I don't. But what I'm trying to say is, if someone said, "Oh no, there was never a cornucopia, but there was this," and that other thing was like a brown object, anything, then I could be rocking with it. So I'm kind of
all right, fair enough. And also, I feel like your age group, like, because for me, in my school days, I don't know about Sheg, this was everywhere. All of the boys in my school, their mums were buying them Fruit of the Loom. When I say all the boys, I mean all of the white boys. They all had Fruit of the Loom. Like, I didn't have Fruit of the Loom. My mum weren't buying me Fruit of the Loom. But I remember seeing this logo enough for me to know that that's something. Like, that for some reason was like a brand. It was one of the first brands that I was aware of because everybody had Fruit of the Loom, especially for PE and all those kind of things. You know what I mean? They had
the sweat top, just a sweat top with the fruit.
For me, this logo, I stopped seeing probably when I was in like primary school times. So if someone equally said to me, "What are the colors in the NAF logo?" I couldn't tell you. I could tell you what the NAF logo probably looked like, but I couldn't tell you the arrangement of the colors.
Right.
So it's kind of like,
All right, that's fair enough. Shake, where you stand on this one?
Right, so I think you hit a point there when you said the age thing.
Right, yeah.
Because I remember Fruit of the Loom, I had a Fruit of the Loom t-shirt, and it had a cornucopia on it. Now, I remember because Fruit of the Loom time, it was so far back in the day that high-tech boots were rocking the show. Yeah, right? And then, when I did remember later on thinking that they'd changed the company because the quality of the actual clothing declined. Now, it's not classed as a quality product. Yeah, but back in the day, it was like a Fred Perry, something like that. So I thought in my mind, before I knew about the Mandela Effect, that the company had changed and they changed the logo.
They just took the cornucopia off. Okay.
Yeah, and that was like a moody Fruit of the Loom. Because it didn't have the cornucopia, because the quality was worse. That's the way I remember it. So it's weird. Do you know what I mean? But then I found out about the Mandela Effect, and that apparently it never ever had a cornucopia, and that's when I thought,
okay.
I do remember that a lot of people were using the Fruit of the Loom t-shirts to print on. Like their standard used to be the quality t-shirt that you would go to. If you're going to print up a blank tee and do any kind of designer stuff, you would generally go in towards Fruit of the Loom.
Yeah. And you know who else was doing that? Me. I was doing that when I was printing t-shirts. When I was living with Leon at one point, I was printing t-shirts on Fruit of the Loom. I know that it had a cornucopia. I'm telling you, bro. This is so nuts to me. Right. So where we at now? Next one. This one's a weird one.
This looks crazy.
Curious George. Nah. Did this monkey have a tail or did this monkey not have a tail? Who's got to go first on this one?
I tell you what, just because it's a monkey, innit? Because it's a monkey, right?
Yeah.
A monkey should have a tail. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Monkeys have tails. So in my head, it's with a tail.
Okay. Rory?
I'm the same. Like, I don't really recall, but I would assume they had a tail on the monkey. But equally, if they said to me it only had 3 fingers instead of 4, I probably wouldn't know.
All right. Shake, where'd you stand on this one?
I've never ever seen Curious George before in my life. But, right? Listen, if it ain't the one with a tail, then the other one is illogical. What is it? Is it a hairy black boy eating a banana?
Whoa.
You went deep. You went deep.
What? No, because like it's got obviously monkey's got a tail. Usually, I thought the tail would be curling up, if anything.
Yeah.
But I've never seen the show as a kid, so I've never seen it as an adult. So I would say, by logic, it should be the one with the tail. But if you're going to say he's never ever had a tail,
I agree, and he never had a tail. He never had a tail. That's what they're saying, which to me just looks so odd. It looks so odd. But apparently, they made this cartoon about a monkey that didn't have a tail, which to me that's got to be one of the maddest things ever.
What was his name again?
Even from an artist's point of view, bro, you're an artist, yeah, Rory. Would you not feel weird not drawing that tail on as a monkey?
But equally, that's what I said. If it had 3 fingers, or if it constantly stood up like this and walked around like a human on 2,
but then how would you know it's a monkey? The tail is the one thing that's going to let you know that this thing's not a human.
I don't know if this thing walks around like the way it's standing in this picture, but if it does, then it might not need the tail.
No, it needs a tail to be a monkey. I'm sorry, I'm just not having it. But again, I'm not willing to die on this one. Like, this is just
hold on. You know, like there's a species like some dogs, they don't have tails. Is there a species of monkey that doesn't have a tail?
Not that I'm aware of.
If there is, then maybe.
No. Primates, the apes don't have tails, but the monkeys do. But they're also 2 different species. Monkeys are not apes. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is there a species of monkey that does not have a tail?
Not that I'm aware of, but there's loads of species of loads of different creatures, so I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But all the monkeys I've seen have tails. That's all I know. Okay, let's move on. Oh, this was where it all began. Kit Kat.
Yeah.
So we talked about this one last week. We're just going to breeze over this one quickly. I mean, for me, I don't see... The funny thing with this picture is I don't remember it looking like that, right?
No.
But I don't remember it also looking like that. But then, right, I took another one of these ones for the Kit Kat, and there's this one. This one looks too thin.
Yeah, no, this is what I remember.
You think it was more like that, yeah? Okay.
It was more spaced out like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was more spaced out, but I think it was a little bit thicker. Like the dash was a little bit thicker. But okay, cool. All right, look, we'll move on from Kit Kat because I think we talked about.
Can I just say one thing about the Kit Kat though? Just why it's so it printed in my mind, is because right, I had a cat, now. Little ginger cat called Sess, and he used to eat Kit E cat, right? So where the dash is, there was an E, and I can remember like consciously remembering, because I used to like Kit Kats as well, chocolate. So and I used to remember saying, Kit E. I used to play word games with myself. In my mind, you understand these little word games. So and I remember this little word game I played with myself. Kit E cat, not Kit dash cat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I know I've got them vivid memories of doing that. So I thought it always had the dash, bro.
I don't know. All right, so this is an interesting one, the Mona Lisa, right? I'm just gonna say straight off the bat, which image to you looks right? Just go, Rory.
For me, I'm going to go to the image on the right where it's more straight-faced. I don't remember this little kind of smirk. Okay. I don't, even though the Mona Lisa smile is a thing, the one on the left looks like she's just farted and she's happy about that. Because now everyone...
You sick dude. Shag?
To me, it is the one on the right I remember, because I remember them saying that this picture is enigmatic.
Yeah,
that you don't know whether she's smiling or frowning, but you can clearly see the one on the left. She's smiling, and that's not the one. She wasn't smiling, never.
Leon?
Well, I've actually seen it, so it's definitely the one on the right.
Definitely the one on the right. Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna say it's the one on the left, that's mad.
Definitely the one on the right. So the one that Rory and Sheg just said, that's what I believe as well, because that's what I grew up remembering. I remember everyone saying that you can't tell if it's smiling or not. But the real one is the one on the left, where she's smiling. And that to me just looks odd, because I remember so many times growing up when I was a child, people saying you couldn't tell. That was the whole thing. You
If she
couldn't
was
tell.
smiling or not.
You had to look at different angles, and some angles she looked like she's smiling, some she didn't. I've never seen the real one in real life, but yeah, apparently the one on the left is the real one. Yeah, which is baffling. Let's see what we've got left. Okay, this is another I'm gonna die on the hill on this one, right? Which one of these two is correct? Rory, you go first.
I'm just gonna go with the black tail, the one on the left, because yeah, I just feel like that is what I remember. Black tail, black tip on the tail.
Okay. Sheg?
Black tail, definitely 100%. And I've got a story about that.
Okay, Leon. We'll come back to that
Yeah,
story
it's definitely that one, bro. I'm going with Rory and Sheg, bro. I remember that definitely vividly as well. Because I remember when it first came out. So yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna agree with all three of you because to me, I 100% know it had a black tip on the tail. I can't even have someone tell me like this is to me is the same as the cornucopia one. I just as much as people want to tell me that no, never. That's the only way I remember this character.
Yeah, and look at this other one. The one on the right has got some brown thing there. What's that?
On the edge, like next to the bum.
like he's just shit himself.
Okay, this one's an interesting one. Which image is right? The one on the right or the one on the left?
Left.
Really?
Definitely left.
What are we saying? Is right? Okay, I see.
So
I see
did Shaggy from Scooby Doo have an Adam's apple that was prominent, or not have an Adam's apple?
I think it's the one on the right.
And the one on the right. Okay.
Yeah.
And Leon, you're saying left, yeah?
Yeah, man. Because I remember the character. He was like a cow, didn't it?
Yeah.
And every time he used to swallow, the Adam's apple used to move.
That's what I remember. The gulp was a big,
the gulp,
big deal.
Yeah.
Like it was a big deal.
Yeah, but I don't think it was there when he was just regularly walking around the mansions.
This is the thing. This is the thing. If you're saying I don't remember if it was there when, it was never there. They've never actually had this as a thing, despite loads of people remembering that he definitely had an Adam's apple. Apparently, he never had an Adam's apple. So you can even see him gulp, and they still don't even draw it in. So that to me is bonkers because I remember the chin with the little specky beard, and I remember this big Adam's apple sticking out of his neck. But anyway, but
maybe it was just the zoinks and like him pulling the collar. Yeah, maybe he was just pulling the collar, so you thought, he's gulping. No, I don't know.
Next to be saying he didn't have a dog. No, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. Okay, this one. Sex in the City or Sex in the City? Which one is it?
I'm going with Sex in the City. I'm pretty sure everyone was saying Sex in the City.
Sheg?
Sex in the City.
Sex in the City?
Yeah, in.
Okay. I can't
They were having sex in the show was about them having sex in
exactly
the
city.
In the city.
Not sex and the city.
I can't even remember now which one's the right one. Hold on a second. Let me just try because I've gone back and forth on this one. So the show's actually called Sex and the City.
Nah.
So it's not Sex in the City. Sex and the City. It doesn't sound right, does it? Sex and the City.
And wasn't there, bro. It just looks out of place.
No,
as well.
Because they weren't showing us the city.
All they were doing in this show is having sex, from what I know. So, and it was in the city.
Yeah.
But no, the show is actually called Sex in the City. So, yeah, that's a weird one. And I bet there's bare wives and girlfriends out there that could tell you what it actually was. But in my memory and in my girlfriend's memory, it was Sex in the City. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, the Volkswagen logo. So this one for me is another one that I'm dead certain on. Like for me, the logo on the left-hand side where the two join is how I remember the logo. That's just not even disputable. That is the Volkswagen logo. This new thing over here with the gap in the middle, I don't even remember that. I thought this genuinely was a new Volkswagen logo when I first started noticing this. And then It's not. That's the one it's always been, apparently. Always had a gap in it. You can go back and look in their archives. Always, always, always had a gap. But for me, it's the one on the left-hand side. I don't know. What do you say, Rory?
From
a design point of view, you're a designer.
Yeah, I would say the one on the right. I would say the one on the right, only because it's the one on the left is confusing because it could also translate into a giant X with 2 random lines either side of it.
You're talking madness. Giant X. Stop that.
He's got his design hat on, bro. Right. I get what you're saying, though.
Sheg?
Right, I get what Rory's saying, but I remember it, yeah, and I can tell you another story with this because it didn't have that, what's it called, that gap, because there was a craze back in the day, yeah, where people used to go rob emblems off a car.
Yeah.
One of the most sought after emblems was the VW because of the design. And I remember one of my friends, I think he had it on the chain.
Yeah, people used to put them on chains. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can remember, it was a solid thing. But now, I don't know, it looks weird like that. The VW. I'm sure I can remember it back in the day without the gap going. Like separating the V and W. That was the whole thing. Oh, they've merged the V and the W together.
Yeah. That was how I remember it.
I'm picturing your mind, yeah. Remember the old camper vans? Yeah.
That's how I remember it, yeah.
They're right in the front and they just yeah. That's how I remember it.
Are people still doing that, by the way? Stealing like the Rolls Royce guy and
no, I think them days are over. Plus, I don't think they're made in the same material no more. Back in the day, they used to be like solid things, whereas now they're just bits of plastic now, isn't it? So you try and pull it off now, probably just snap in half in your hand. That's the last one. That is the last one. But yeah, anyway, that was the Mandela Effect. I hope everyone enjoyed playing along with that. And if you have any more that we've missed in the comment section, please let us know. I'm always interested to hear some new ones because it's not stopping. Every time I go back and check YouTube for this stuff, I mean, I think I shared a link in our group the other day. The video was like 3 hours long. I wasn't even expecting it to be that long. Like there was so many in there that I'd never even heard of. That I'm gonna have to go
Where's Wally? Did he have a walking stick or brolly or nothing?
He definitely had some sort of stick. Don't tell me there's no stick there because he definitely had a hiking stick or something.
That's what I'm saying.
And they're saying it's not there no more.
Yeah, they're saying that he doesn't have anything, bro. I thought he had. Like,
stop that. I need to go back and have a look at that then because he definitely had some sort of hiking stick. No doubt about it. I don't even think it was.
Or was it a brolly?
I don't even know if it was a brolly. I think it was a proper hiking stick. But yeah, it's a madness. It definitely is a madness.
Do you know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for Tintin, to rock up with a Mohican. That's what I'm waiting for.
You're a sick dude. If that ever happens.
Anyway.
But there was the Looney Tunes one as well. I know we're going to... Come on. It was definitely with 2 O's, no?
What, the Toons one?
Yeah.
See, the thing with the Toons one, right? Again, I could be misremembering that from being a child, for one. That was the time when I was looking at that the most.
2 O's in tune.
No, but also because
is that what we're saying? No, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, because what they're saying is
I recall 2 O's in tune.
No, I also recall that thing's supposed to look like a record, right? And it is supposed to be a tune, so Looney Tunes. So
wait, what are we saying? They're saying the logo is because
they're saying that it's tunes, isn't it? They're saying that it's TUNES. Yeah.
No.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Looney Tunes. Not Looney Tunes.
Cartoons. Looney Tunes.
As I said before, I always do wordplay with words in my mind, And to me, I had it like cartoons.
That's what Rory's saying. Yeah, that's what Rory's saying.
That's I agree with Rory there because it makes sense, because it wasn't a serious thing.
I mean, that's the one I'm more comfortable with. But at the same time, going back to what I was saying earlier about not feeling completely like, okay, they're bamboozling me here. I could understand because there's a whole story of why it's Tunes and not Toons. And if you hear the story of why it's Tunes and not Toons, that story kind of makes sense. I'm not going to try and go through it all now, but it's to do with the melodies that used to play behind those cartoons. And apparently that is always been Tunes, but people saw it as Toons. But in my mind, growing up, I saw cartoons and I saw Looney Tunes. They are Toons. But Rory's got his mind blown. So you didn't get your mind blown until the very end of this. This is what blew your mind. I just showed you like 20 different examples. And then he got to Looney Tunes. He's like, no, I'm not having that.
Because you have to understand, I grew up watching these like literally every day after school.
He did watch clothes every day. But yeah, I mean, a large part of why you like drawing is probably because of watching so many cartoons.
That's crazy. Wow. Okay.
But yeah, it's a mad one. See, there's more coming out. That's what I'm saying. Every single day I kind of think to myself, what's changed? What's new? But anyway, I think we've got to wrap up the show. I think we're at this point, we can call that another episode under our belt. I just want to say thank you to Sheg.
Cheers, people.
Thank you to Leon.
Laters.
And thank you to Rory.
Take it easy, guys.
And thank you to our listeners and viewers for tuning in for another episode. And please don't forget to like and share. Definitely like and share. We need the support and the help that you can give us. And we appreciate every single like and every single share that you do. And stay tuned for our next episode. Goodbye.